Max Verstappen could leave Red Bull, and the most alarming reason has nothing to do with money, one bad race, or a simple contract dispute. Adrian Newey's departure, Gianpiero Lambiase's crucial role, and Verstappen's own exit timeline are exposing a deeper crisis inside the team. Red Bull is not only fighting to keep its champion. It is fighting to prove that the people, stability, and winning structure Verstappen trusted have not already disappeared. And when the final clue connects everything, his possible exit stops looking like a rumor, and starts looking like a warning. Subscribe to the channel. For years, Max Verstappen and Red Bull looked completely inseparable. Red Bull gave Verstappen the chance to become a world champion. Verstappen gave Red Bull victories, dominance, and the kind of confidence that made the entire team look untouchable. Together, they built one of the strongest partnerships in modern Formula One. But here is the first warning. Powerful partnerships rarely collapse in one dramatic moment. They weaken slowly. One trusted person leaves. One internal relationship changes. One technical decision creates doubt. Then another problem appears, and suddenly the team that once felt completely stable begins to feel different. That is why the current situation matters. There is still no confirmed announcement saying Verstappen has officially chosen another team. There is no verified departure date. There is no final statement proving that he has already decided to walk away. But the same three pressure points keep appearing. Adrian Newey's departure, Gianpiero Lambiase's importance, and Verstappen's own timeline for deciding his future. At first, those may sound like separate stories. They are not. They all lead back to one dangerous question. Does Verstappen still trust Red Bull to remain a championship team in the years ahead? Because a Formula One driver does not only depend on speed. He depends on people. He depends on the engineers building the car, the strategists making decisions, the leaders controlling the team, and the voice speaking directly into his ear during the most stressful moments of a race. Think of Red Bull as a machine made from hundreds of moving parts. Verstappen may be the most visible part, but the machine only works when every important piece moves together. And when several of those pieces begin changing at the same time, the driver feels it before the public does. That is what makes this situation so alarming. A difficult race can be fixed. A weak upgrade can be replaced. A strategy mistake can be studied. But a loss of trust is much harder to repair. Once a driver begins questioning the people around him, every small problem feels larger. Every departure creates another doubt. Every rival improvement becomes more serious. Every promise about the future begins to require proof. And this is where Gianpiero Lambiase becomes crucial. Lambiase is not simply the man giving Verstappen information over the radio. He is one of the strongest links between Verstappen and Red Bull. He knows how Verstappen communicates when calm. He knows how he reacts under pressure. He understands when Verstappen needs detail, and when a short message is enough. That kind of trust takes years to build. A new engineer can learn the numbers. But learning the driver is different. It takes victories, mistakes, arguments, pressure, and hundreds of moments that never become public. So when Red Bull works to keep Lambiase close, it reveals something important. The team understands that Verstappen's loyalty is not protected by a contract alone. It is protected by the environment around him. And when a team feels the need to protect that environment, it usually means the danger is already real. But Lambiase is only the first clue. The next one reaches much deeper into Red Bull's future, because it involves the man whose influence shaped the cars Verstappen trusted at the limit. And that man is Adrian Newey. For years, Newey's influence became part of Red Bull's identity. He was not the only person designing the car. Formula One machines are built by large groups of engineers, aerodynamicists, mechanics, and technical leaders. But some people shape the way an entire team thinks. They influence how problems are understood. They influence which risks are accepted. They influence whether a car feels predictable at the limit or difficult to trust. And for a driver like Verstappen, that difference is enormous. A fast car is important. A car you understand is even more important. When Verstappen attacks a corner, he is not simply reacting to speed. He is relying on the car to behave in a way he expects. The braking must feel consistent. The front of the car must respond. The rear must remain stable enough for him to commit. When that trust exists, Verstappen can push closer to the limit. When it disappears, even the best driver in the world begins compensating. He brakes differently. He adjusts his line. He protects the tires. He changes the way he attacks. And every compromise can cost time. That is why Newey's future matters so much. The real question is not whether Red Bull can replace one person. The question is whether Red Bull can preserve the thinking, experience, and confidence that person helped build. A job title can be replaced. A name can be added to an organization chart. But judgment is harder to transfer. Imagine a master chef leaving a famous restaurant. The recipes remain. The ingredients remain. The kitchen remains full of talented people. But the person who knew exactly when to change the temperature, when to trust instinct, and when to ignore the usual method is gone. The restaurant may continue to succeed. It may even improve. But until the next menu is served, nobody knows for certain. That uncertainty is now part of Verstappen's decision. Can Red Bull continue building cars that suit him? Can the technical group respond when the rules change? Can the team solve problems quickly enough? Can it remain calm under pressure? And can the new structure create the same confidence the old one created? Those questions become even more serious because Newey's name has been connected with Aston Martin. That does not prove Verstappen is following him. It does not confirm that a deal exists. It does not mean Aston Martin has already convinced Verstappen to leave. But it creates a possibility Red Bull cannot ignore. A rival team may be building a future around one of the most respected technical minds in the sport. And for Verstappen, that means the decision is no longer only about what Red Bull has achieved. It is about what another team may become. That changes the entire calculation. Red Bull can point to championships. It can point to victories. It can point to everything Verstappen and the team built together. But those achievements belong to the past. A driver choosing his future must look forward. He must ask which team will understand the next generation of cars. Which team will react best to new regulations. Which team will create the strongest working environment? And which team will still be improving when the championship pressure becomes unbearable? Aston Martin does not need to prove it is better than Red Bull today. It only needs to make Verstappen believe its future could become stronger. That is the danger. Because Formula One careers are not judged by what a team once was. They are shaped by what that team becomes next. Think of it like choosing between two roads. One road is familiar. You have traveled it before. You know where the difficult corners are. You know where it becomes smooth. And you know it has already taken you somewhere extraordinary. The other road is less certain. But new signs suggest it may be shorter, faster, and built for the direction you now want to travel. The difficult part is that neither road offers a guarantee. Staying can be a risk. Leaving can be a risk. And doing nothing can be a decision of its own. This is why Verstappen's possible exit timeline matters. An exit timeline does not necessarily mean he has already selected a date. It can mean he is waiting for a condition to change. Perhaps he stays while Red Bull remains competitive. Perhaps he stays while the technical direction still feels convincing. Perhaps he stays while the people he trusts remain close. But every condition has a limit. At some point, waiting can become more dangerous than moving. And Verstappen knows time matters. A driver may have many seasons in Formula One, but only a limited number at the absolute peak. One poor technical cycle can cost years. One failed project can turn championship opportunities into frustration. One decision made too late can change the final shape of a career. That is why loyalty becomes complicated. Fans often describe loyalty as staying no matter what. But a champion cannot think that way. Loyalty must exist beside ambition. It must exist beside evidence. It must exist beside the reality that every rival is trying to build something better. Verstappen can respect everything Red Bull has given him and still question whether it remains the strongest place for his future. Those two feelings can exist at the same time. Gratitude does not remove doubt. Success does not remove risk. And history does not guarantee another championship. That is what makes the Newey connection so powerful. It is not simply about one designer moving to another team. It represents the possibility that some of Red Bull's greatest strengths may now be helping a rival build its future. And if that future begins to look more stable, more ambitious, or more convincing, Verstappen will notice. He will notice whether Aston Martin develops faster. He will notice whether its leadership looks united. He will notice whether its promises become visible on the track. And he will notice whether Red Bull responds with confidence or with fear. That may be the most important test of all. Because Verstappen is not only watching lap times. He is watching behavior. He is watching how Red Bull handles pressure. He is watching whether the team protects key relationships. He is watching whether technical problems are solved or explained away. He is watching whether departures are replaced with real strength or only reassuring words. Every decision becomes evidence. Every race becomes part of the argument. Stay here. The system still works. The future is still strong. The people around you still know how to win. But Aston Martin may be building the opposite argument. Come here. The next era is beginning. The project is growing. The technical vision is changing. And the future may belong to the team willing to build everything around you. That is no longer a simple transfer rumor. It is a battle between certainty and possibility. Red Bull offers familiarity, history, and proven success. Aston Martin may offer renewal, ambition, and a different kind of future. But Verstappen still holds one option that makes both teams nervous. He may decide that neither project is worth the sacrifice. And that is where this story becomes even more alarming. And this is where the story becomes much more personal. Most people assume Max Verstappen has only two choices: stay with Red Bull, or leave for another Formula One team. But that is not the full picture. There is a third option, and it gives Verstappen more power than any rival contract ever could. He can walk away from Formula One completely. That possibility changes everything. A driver who desperately needs another seat can be pressured. A driver who believes he must remain in the sport has to choose from the opportunities available. But a driver who is willing to leave does not negotiate from fear. He negotiates from freedom. And Verstappen has already achieved what most drivers spend their entire lives chasing. He has won championships. He has dominated races. He has carried the pressure of being the driver everyone wants to beat. He has lived through the expectation that anything less than victory is somehow a failure. That changes the way a person looks at the future. For a young driver trying to prove he belongs, Formula One can feel like the only thing that matters. For a champion who has already proven everything, the question becomes different. Is this still worth it? That question is more dangerous for Red Bull than any offer from Aston Martin. Because money cannot answer it. A faster car cannot always answer it. Another championship may not answer it. The real answer depends on what Formula One is costing Verstappen outside the car. The pressure never really stops. Every radio message is analyzed. Every facial expression becomes a story. Every difficult weekend creates rumors. Every disagreement is treated like a crisis. And every decision about the future becomes public before the driver is ready to make it. From the outside, that may look like part of the job. From the inside, it can become exhausting. Imagine being followed by thousands of people waiting for one sentence they can turn into a headline. You cannot sound frustrated. You cannot sound uncertain. You cannot sound too loyal. You cannot sound too interested in leaving. Every answer must satisfy the team, the media, the fans, the sponsors, and the people negotiating behind closed doors. That is not simply pressure. It is a life where almost nothing remains private. And Verstappen has never appeared interested in pretending that Formula One must control every part of his identity. That matters. He loves racing. But loving racing does not mean loving everything around it. There is a difference between enjoying the competition and enjoying the entire machine built around the competition. The travel. The politics. The repeated questions. The constant performance reviews. The calendar that keeps growing. The expectation that a champion must always want more. That final point may be the most important. Fans are taught to believe that great drivers should chase records forever. One more victory. One more title. One more season. One more chance to become the greatest. But greatness does not always mean staying the longest. Sometimes greatness means knowing when the experience has changed. Sometimes the hardest decision is not leaving too early. It is refusing to stay too late. And Verstappen would not be the first major Formula One figure to consider that kind of choice. History has shown that legendary drivers can step away and still protect their legacy. Leaving does not erase the championships. It does not cancel the victories. It does not remove the moments that made millions of people watch. In some cases, leaving at the right time makes the career feel even stronger. The driver walks away before decline defines the final chapter. Before frustration becomes the main story. Before the sport takes more than it gives back. That possibility gives Verstappen a different kind of leverage. Red Bull cannot simply offer him another year. It has to offer him a reason to want another year. That is much harder. A contract can contain dates, conditions, and financial promises. It cannot create excitement. It cannot create trust. It cannot make a driver feel that the sacrifices still have meaning. Those feelings come from the environment. From the car. From the people. From the direction of the team. From the belief that the next season is worth the cost. And that is where Red Bull's challenge becomes clear. The team is not only competing against Aston Martin. It is competing against Verstappen's life outside Formula One. A life with fewer interviews. Fewer political battles. More freedom to race in other ways. More control over his own time. Less pressure to carry an entire organization on his shoulders. That alternative does not need to be faster than a Formula One car. It only needs to feel more satisfying. And once that possibility becomes real, the balance changes. Red Bull can no longer assume Verstappen will stay because there is nowhere better to go. There may be somewhere better.